Now it's time to return to the world of Remnant. That's right, it's RWBY Volume 2. After Volume 1's kind of cliffhanger, fans were excited for more. Now we got it. Volume 2 opens with two new villains, Emerald and Mercury, who kill a White Fang defector, and then we cut to the gang at Beacon. Okay, so there's no reason for this fight, but it's so awesome, I just don't care. Only Monty Ohm could make a literal food fight one of the most memorable and exciting fights in the series. Anyway, we meet Cinder Fall, the higher-up Torchic, Emerald, and Mercury, and she's something. I'm not sure what. Anyway, back in Beacon, Blake is obsessing over the Torchic and White Fang incident, despite seeming perfectly fine in the food fight. The rest of the team decides to try and find more info on what they're up to. Sun and his teammate Neptune decide to tag along. With that, the team splits up. Weiss and RWBY go to find out if the White Fang have stolen any more property of the Schnee Dust Company. Blake and Sun attend a White Fang meeting, and Yang and Neptune return to the club from the yellow trailer. Along the way to the tower, RWBY finds Penny, and she turns out to be, gasp, a robot. Surprise? Meanwhile, at the club, they don't find any info, but at the White Fang meeting, Torchic and his new assistant Neo unveil this thing. Yeah. Blake and Sun attempt to leave, but Torchic spots them and chases them down in the mech. The rest of RWBY joins them in the fight. And Yang reveals her semblance and almost single-handedly destroys the mech.
With each hit, she gets stronger, and she uses that energy to fight back. That's what makes her special.
Wait, what happened to Sun and Neptune?
They're probably fine, right? Probably.
Back at Beacon, with not much from their mission, Blake is still obsessing over the White Fang's plan, ignoring pretty much everything else. Her friends, Sun, the school dance, food, water, sleep. You get the idea. Concerned for her, the team tries to find a way to get her to take a break. So, let's check up on Juniper.
She's into you! Why don't you see it?
Well, back to RWBY. Yang confronts Blake in the library. There she reveals her past. She talks about how her mother disappeared and how Yang never knew her and how she attempted to find her with RWBY but was almost killed by Grimm. She tells Blake that she's still searching, but she'll never let that search control her. This is one of my favorite scenes. The art in the flashbacks is fantastic, and we finally get some deeper development for Yang. Blake then agrees to go to the dance with Sun. Sorry, Bumblebee. Please continue with your perpetual denial. Anyway, speaking of ships...
She's into you! Why don't you see it?
Jean's being an idiot, still pining after Weiss, who's in Neptune, who's into Sun. That was a joke. Jean is irritated that Neptune declined Weiss's offer to go to the dance. He goes to confront him, but sees Pyro alone and goes to see what's wrong. She basically has to spell it out that she's into him and then leaves. Neptune shows up and asks Jean why he didn't take Weiss to the dance. Jean...
Why Schnee asked you to the dance? What in the world could possibly keep you from
I can't dance.
Beg your pardon?
I can't dance, man.
Jean gives Neptune's Pyra's advice to talk to Weiss, and then, well, there are no words. Now is as good a time as ever to talk about Team Juniper, because Team Juniper is actually my favorite team, and they're my favorite characters. Now don't get me wrong, I love Team RWBY too, for the most part, but if I had to choose a team to join, well, there's no question. Why? Well, Pyra's the best fighter and all-around awesome. I could slap John in the face and tell him,
Wake up!
Ren is the kind of person I'd want by my side in a battle with demon monsters, and Nora, do I even need a reason? Point is, I love Juniper. Oh, and I get to dance like a pro. Nice perk. Oh yeah, there's a plot to talk about. RWBY spots Cinder in a disguise, kind of, and pursues her. Cinder hacks into something and RWBY confronts her. She gets away. Later, RWBY informs Osmond, Goodwitch, Ironwood, and... oh yeah, this is Ironwood. Later, the teams are assigned missions to take with a teacher, and RWBY takes this opportunity to investigate Torchwick's schemes. And who's going to be their chaperone?
Who's ready to fight for their lives?
Oobleck, a character voiced by Joel Heyman. Wonderful. Well, to his credit, he actually turns out to be a pretty good teacher, and what do you know, actually teaches the girls a lesson. Well, it's better than any teacher I've ever had.
We all had this romanticized vision of being a huntress in our heads. But at the end of the day, it's a job to protect the people. And whatever we want will have to come second.
Oh, and RWBY falls down a hole in the street and gets captured by Torchwick, who's planning to use an underground train system to release Grimm into Vale. Oobleck, Yang, Weiss, Blake, and Zwei, who's a dog, follow her and have a fight on the train. The most memorable fight for me is Yang versus Neo. Neo defeats her and is about to kill her when when a mysterious woman shows up out of nowhere, saves Yang, and runs back through a portal. Anyway, despite the team's best efforts, the train releases some Grimm into the city. Oh boy, here we go. This is where the show gets go. Or not. Sure, it's a cool fight, but that's really all it is. A cool fight. I mean, Torchwick is arrested, Ironwood gets annoyed with Ozpin, Adam's back, but that's it. So, yeah, this second season gets about as much plot advancement as the first. Honestly, I like the Volume 1 finale more, because at least that one ends on a somewhat dramatic note, whereas this one just kind of ends. Despite the fact that this season is still pretty weak in terms of plot, it improves over Volume 1 in terms of animation, writing, character depth, voice acting, and even music. And let's be honest, now that Volume 3's happened, doubts about the show's plot have pretty much been dispelled. Speaking of which, see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you like this video, you should probably consider subscribing. Come on, all the cool kids are doing it.